So let's dig into it. And I'll begin with my favorite statements, the culture of Allente. The beauty of Allente is in the dish. I'll try to explain why going forward, but a little bit first about Allente. So Allente formed 4.5 years ago as a result of a merger between Canal Digital and Viasat Consumer. 50-50 owned by Telenor Group and Viaplay Group. Approximately 250 employees and approximately 1 million subscribers across the Nordics, including our 8,000 B2B subscribers. If we look at our product portfolio, it's quite extensive. So in a lot of the books you can read about leadership and how to build in great companies, the advice you get is to have focus. Focus on one thing and be best at it. Well, we focus on a lot of things. But there's one thing that kind of you can see going through everything here, and that's TV. It's a little bit different throughout the Nordic countries, but the core of Allente is in satellite. And going into satellites, when I go to IBC or other events, I often hear that satellite, pay TV, dinosaurs. Maybe. But actually, satellite operators, in particular also in the Nordics, we're digital pioneers. We should be proud of what we have done for the TV industry, starting with satellite. First ones to launch HD in the Nordics, first ones to digitalize TV, and a lot of the processes. I'm pretty sure if you talk with some of the dinosaurs that I brought with me from my team today, they have like 30 years in the company-ish, 60 combined. They will tell you, we had apps on our set-top boxes, early 2000s, gaming. Satellite is fantastic. Been pioneers, been innovative. And it has some awesome benefits. Now I'm going too far away from the PC. That becomes a problem. There. So a lot of great benefits with satellite TV. So the reach, magnificent. There's one TV signal covering the whole of Nordics. And the same satellite that we are using is also covering all of Central Europe. It's super reliable. Nobody sends a piece of machinery up in space that might fail during the next couple of years. It always works. Except when it's a little bit bad weather. Then there might be some challenges. Super mature technology. Super stable. We know exactly what we're doing on the satellite. It's great. But it also has some challenges. So, as I said, satellite is costly to send to space, meaning it's costly to use it, which is great. When we peaked, we had combined in Viasat and Canal Digital somewhere around 2.5 and 3 million subs. Cost per sub was quite low, but now that we have a little bit fewer subs, cost increases, becomes a challenge. Also, market has been saturated, and consumers they also perceive satellite as a little bit old school. And then satellite lacks a little bit of the flexibility. A lot of the consumers today wants to watch content when they're out traveling or whatever they are doing, wherever and whenever on whatever device. Satellite can't do that. So if you look into the shift and kind of take the big picture on the market, satellite, together with DTT and cable TV, past our peak. It's more in the milking phase, which is great. It's highly profitable. Fantastic. If we look at the other end of the scale, you'll find the SVOD services. It's growing in an insane pace. It's fantastic. But it's a very crowded space. Since it's growing so fast, Everyone wants to get into it. Then in the middle here, you have IPTV, or broadband TV, fiber TV. It's at its peak. There's no more organic growth left. There's no more fiber to build in the Nordics, almost. I think the fiber coverage in Norway now is 95%. The last 5%, the cost of building that, there's no private company that will take that cost alone. It needs to be government funded. So maybe IPTV will move more over to becoming a milking platform going forward. Highly possible. Then there's the last one. It's a little bit newcomer. We've been talking about it for years, as long as I've been in the industry. OTT-TV. But it's just now it started to really grow and mature, becoming something. So, for us that have our core in DTH, we also have some business in IPTV, as you saw. We need to shift, we need to transform if we're going to stay relevant, because our primary platforms are going to milking. And in our considerations there, also a lot of things that we need to go through, but it's basically a strategical pivot. TV is still our core. I'll remember to point this at the right place. Go one back. So first thing we looked at, what is it that customers actually want to have from us? Well, they want flexibility. They also want some video on demand. But linear is still important. Okay. So we can have a good understanding of what our customers actually do want. And going forward then, how can we sell this product? Can we make a decent business out of this? Content rights might be a little bit more expensive. How do we price it? How do we package it? We don't have all the answers. What kind of go-to-market strategies should we have? And how can we experiment with the business model? Well, we didn't have all the answers, but we saw a direction, we saw a way how to go forward with it. And then the last, how do we build it? Can we leverage our history, our legacy with satellite? We used to be super innovative. We can reuse that culture to innovate in a new space. Is there some of the technology that we have that we can reuse, or do we need to build everything new? And how do we build great customer journeys into this? The result on our side was Allente Stream, which we launched as an experiment in Denmark 2.5 years ago. And we launched it as an experiment because we wanted to test our business models, how to sell it, find different strategies on how to monetize it, and how to build a sustainable business to it. And it's been highly successful for us. Yes, it's cost us some money. We have done several mistakes on the road. But the product has gotten really, really good. Then looking at it from a technical perspective, keep on forgetting to pointing in the right direction. There's some key questions we also started to ask there. What are the key components we need to have? How do we handle this? Because everything, absolutely everything, will be a moving target. You all know how the creative salespeople work. There's a new idea every other minute, something new that we need to make, and this didn't work, we need to jump there. Okay, we need to accept that. Content's shifting as well. Market is shifting, consumer needs and behaviors are shifting. All this we need to take into consideration. How do we secure that we get the right scale in it? Our experience from satellite, it's really easy to scale. Just send one signal up and one signal down. There's no scalability issues. Only limit is how much data can we pass through the satellite. And then what do we develop in-house? And what do we do together with partners? Where do we thrive? Where do we find partners that are better than us in some of the stuff that we need to do? So for us, it started first with security, which I talked about 2 years ago, Erik. Kind of making sure that we're protecting our content, making sure that we're protecting our customer, making sure that we're protecting our business. Security, super important and super complex. Well, satellite operations have also been quite easy. Building our operations for something new, something more flexible, it's a little bit more difficult. We had to make sure that we had proper operations before starting to build and expand. And then, of course, we really wanted to move to cloud. But moving to cloud is not super easy. And what do we want to move to cloud? What can we keep in our data centers? So we started small, doing small components, gradually expanded, gradually learning. And by January next year, or end of January next year, everything that we had running as our backend, except encoding, will be running in the cloud. It's a long journey. Next component, our product platform. And we have had a streaming platform for, I think, 12 years now. I think first streaming platform we launched back in 2010, maybe. But it was built on kind of different context, different needs of our consumers, and also to serve a different purpose. It was built to be a value-added service for our DTH customers. Now we wanted to build something that was standing alone. Meant for us that we need to rethink, set up a new architecture, build our new applications, new integrations, make sure it had the flexibility that we needed, and that we also could get the velocity in our development work we wanted, so we could go to market fast once we had them out in the market. Secondly, distribution platform. As I've said several times here, satellite distribution, it's complex, but it's kind of super scalable. It's super scale. Streaming is not the same. And even though we're not done yet, there's still quite some work left. We have learned a lot. And all that learning we have gathered over the last 15 years. And also the 30 years before that with satellite TV. We put into the distribution platform we are currently building on and developing over the next year or so. Then commercial platform. Moving into a more digital product, digital customer journeys, also requires a different commercial approach. We have more partners, we have more explorative kind of commercial partnerships. We're testing different ways of selling our product. All of these needs technical support in one way or the other. We can't have 2,000 different ways of integrating partners or B2Bs or whatever. We need to find one, two, make sure that has all the flexibility we need in order to scale our sales as well. And this in particular is a moving target. And the last, as I think have been mentioned several times here today, data. Make sure that we have all the data we need so we can actually understand our customers, how they're using our products, how our products are performing, and also so we can provide really great recommendations. Data is super complex, super challenging to work with, but it's also one of the key components in order for us to thrive when we're moving into a new era of the company. Show a few examples from our products. These are from our Apple TV app, but we have more or less the same user interface across all devices. We focus on content, we focus on simplicity, and we focus in these OTT products on more younger segments. Maybe not Gen Z, but certainly younger than the satellite customers. We try to be a good partner also for our content providers, make sure that we have seamless integrations with our content providers, so that we can also drive traffic, not only to our own services, but also to our partner services, like this example. And the way we have been working with content partners, I'm really, really proud of that. Because we have developed solutions, companies like Amazon are coming to us and saying, hey, this is a really smart way of solving it. We are actually solving a problem. Can we also integrate that? Can we learn from you? That's making me super proud of my team and the work that we're doing to create the best possible services. Then, of course, we're experimenting with different ways to kind of merge linear content into the VOD experience, or even building content worlds in different ways. And these collections from each provider, and they're actually different. TV2, Viaplay, non-ingested content, so it goes deep links into their services. Sky Showtime, ingested content. The experience is seamless for the user, so it doesn't really create a hassle for them. Then we're able to provide a really good, super aggregated experience. So trying to look a little bit into the future as well. What would be the next steps for us? Like that. Infrastructure. Well, having a large customer base on DTH, the distribution cost and the infrastructure cost, it's the same. It's static. Having a large customer base on streaming, it's very difficult to control your cost base. And I think there's a lot of efficiency that's going to happen on the infrastructure side going forward. A lot of innovation, simplification, that will provide us lower latency, provide us possibility to do encoding at a cheaper, maybe even in cloud, possibility to deliver signals at a more controlled cost and more efficient. I'm quite sure if every customer in the market today went out of the traditional ways of distributing TV and went into streaming, the fiber backbone in our Nordic countries will never be able to handle it. AI and machine learning, the buzzword of the year. Of course, it's going to provide us a lot of opportunities within personalization, having human conversations with machines, providing great user experiences, but also providing areas of improvements in the customer journey or in efficiency. We're looking into how can we use AI in our customer service, not only in the dialogue between the customer and our customer service, but also internally in customer service to handle customer service processes. Can be highly beneficial. And then the last one, which we just started looking a little bit into, is quite interesting. Automotive or cars. It's kind of my kids, when they were small, they had a DVD player in the back seat on long journeys. It was fantastic. Avoided all the questions, are we there yet? 5 minutes after we left home, knowing that you have a 10-hour drive in front of you. I think cars might actually be the new arena for entertainment. All the big car players in the market today, or car manufacturers, are investing heavily in building entertainment systems into their cars. This might be a big and critical area. We need to figure out how can we work in that area, what can we offer in that. So to conclude, The beauty of Allente is in a dish. We're building on all our legacy, everything that we have learned from being in the TV industry for the past 30 plus years. It's fantastic. And also knowing that innovation and customers have always been a part of our DNA and will continue to be that as we move forward as well. But there's a couple of things to remember, and it applies for all of us. If you want to stay relevant, you need to acknowledge that the market is changing and be willing to transform to continue to stay relevant. You need to expect change. Not only will you do mistakes, not only will you fail a couple of times, sometimes cheap, sometimes costly. Try to make it as cheap as possible every time you fail. But expect to change. You won't always be right. And when you see you need to change, just do it. There's no waiting. And the last one, there's no finish line. You should never just launch something to the market and then leave it up to the user to figure it out. Continue to develop, continue to improve. Make sure that you at any given time have the best user experience. Thank you.